Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another Hat Show episode 200. 254. Obviously, in this one, it is the first review. I was about to say preview of this season. Obviously, in League One, where we did obviously get a 1-0 win against AFC Wimbledon. Large parts of that game, especially leading up to them final, 10 minutes. Probably thought it was going to end up being a 0-0 draw on the first game in the whole of obviously the league, but obviously it wasn't to be. It was 3 points instead, which is better, of course, especially when you look at how we start traditionally in the last couple of years. Compare that to last year's first game, is an absolute drubbing. So, yeah, we'll obviously get into it a bit more. But before we do that, how have you been, Dad, the last few days?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good.
Good to hear. Good to see everyone in the chat as well. I will remind everyone at the end as well. But I have pinned this today. Join my Discord group for updates on the channel, and then obviously the Luton score predictions updates that we're doing as well. I've got a few people in there over the last couple of days on top of the people that were already in. So even if you're not part of the predictions thing, do join it anyway, as there will be updates on the channel when stuff is dropping and has dropped, etc. And I want to get that proper going off as well. So yeah, with the communication with you guys. But yeah, like I say, going into the game against AFC Wimbledon. Now the game itself, I mean, the lineup was obviously Keeley, Makoso, Anderson, Naismith, uh, as obviously the back three with the goalkeeper. Longwick and Walters were the wing backs. Walsh, Saville, and Clark in the midfield, and Wells and Ali. I mean, looking at that at first, that 11, it was good for Ali in the sense, like going into it, because he's actually playing where he should be, which is a striker and where we want to see him. And Longwick has shown them signs that he can, obviously in the games before this, you sort of do that role where he can go forward sometimes. Didn't quite work out as, effective in this game. But the bench was Baptiste, Lamine, Kuda, McGuinness, Nelson, Shea, and Woodrow. What I will say about this game, that I was happy with when that lineup come out on top of the Ali situation was not seeing any of the players that have just come back come straight in, like McGuinness, Lamine. Me personally, I just didn't want to see that because you have seen, not really under Bluefield, but just historically, especially in the recent years, we've brought a player back, and then they've got injured pretty much straight away. I mean, it happened a few times with Burke. Um, it happened with Baptiste as well, didn't it? Against Plymouth last season. So there has been them moments. So for me personally, I was glad that none of them were like starting. And obviously we did see McGuinness near the end get some minutes, which was good. Only a few, but I don't mind that for now. Get him up to speed and things like that. But yeah, I mean, looking at that lineup, how was you feeling when that did drop, Dad?
Defense is similar to. I felt that Ali would probably go up front, and obviously with without that left sort of wing back that Longvic would take that responsibility, and I guess the rest is just pretty much what we expected. I guess. Don't know if I would have started Walsh. He didn't do too bad, but yeah, pretty much expected. And should have been good enough. Well, we were good enough to beat them, but it weren't. It weren't. We've seen better performances in pre-season, but it wasn't terrible. And you can, if that's what happens when you got 4 or 5 debutants and things like that. First game of the season at home, expected to get something against a team that's just come up, etc., etc., etc. They come to defend. So yeah, the lineup was pretty much as expected. Not sure what's going on with Nordas because he wasn't named on the bench. I'd say that he's probably picked up an injury, or maybe someone has come in for him. But the talk at the start of the season was he's going to look to get as many goals as he can for us, etc., etc. He's been involved in lots of pre-season games. So yeah, I'm not too sure, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting one with Nordas. Obviously I did do a video yesterday, obviously talking on the links with Tavide, and that video has done very well. So thank you to everyone that has watched that. A lot of new subscribers from that, and I was saying, does that potentially mean a striker's going to go out? Because the way I look at it is, we've obviously, if we get him in, we've got him, which is looking likely. It's just it needs to be announced by what I'm hearing. Obviously, then you have Nordas, you got Wells, you got Nelson, who is actually a striker. As much as we don't play in there, he is a striker. You got Woodrow, you got Brown. I mean, I named 7 yesterday, and I do feel yes, we got Brown and Elijah out, but that's still quite a lot to have. Um, on top of other positions you want to have options for, like midfield, defence, and obviously the backup goalkeeper, which is Shea. So I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting one. I mean, I'm surprised nothing's come out of it. Giving the Nordas thing, and that to me personally, maybe someone is departing. And the good thing about Tavide, obviously, if we do get him in, which again, like I say, is looking very likely, he can play anywhere across that 3. And it did say on Sky we were playing a 3-4-3. Now, again, maybe it didn't look like Clark was as the game was going on, because obviously it said he was on the right wing. But if we do play that with Tavide in, not straight away, obviously, but as the games go on throughout the season, you can have him on the, any of there, probably the right. You can have Ali on the left and like Yates up front. I think as the season goes on, that could work. You've got options. Like I say, play anywhere across there. Also, because he is 21, I think he will play in the St Johnstone Paint Trophy, as I like to call it, as well on top of that. And, he might even start off there, so he can build up his minutes and things like that. So, yeah, that's looking likely. I'm talking like it is done, because it basically is. It just needs to be announced from what I'm hearing and things like that. And their manager sort of said, didn't he, the Colchester manager, he didn't directly say he's going to Luton, but he sort of, he knew he was going there. You looked at all the other reports. It's us really. So yeah, obviously we will touch on that when it is announced and get more of your thoughts on that, Dad. But yeah, the game itself. I mean, the first half we were a bit sloppy at times. I felt in the first half we were struggling to actually get to grips and get a hold of the game. I felt Walters in the first half was sloppy. I'll be honest, but like I said in the second half, I felt he was really good. He massively stepped up. And I have said about potentially bringing in another right back, just someone with a bit of EFL experience that can help him develop even more. And I feel games like the other day, especially particularly that first half, you can sort of see why people may suggest that when it comes to there. But obviously, ideally, you'd like to get a left back in first, Doughty replacement. Obviously, another thing we haven't touched on is we did announce another signing other than Yates. And that's obviously another player who can play on the left. If I'm being honest, it doesn't fill a lot of people with confidence. I've seen what Rotherham fans have said about him as well. And it's not like, with all due respect, it's not like Hakeem where they were gutted, to see him go. They're sort of like, I mean, sometimes his pace saves him and things like that. But for me, the way I see it is because we, like, obviously, the scouts and that know better than us, but because us as fans are not convinced by it, it sort of makes you feel that we're still going to get someone else in to help that. And like I've said, if we end the window with obviously a couple more outgoings, a left back and a right back, there'll be no complaints from me. I think overall that's a pretty good window, especially the players you have got for free, pretty experienced players. And, obviously the other players are, good coups, you could say, to get in. So, yeah, we just need a few more out, a few more in. But some of the ones we do obviously want to get out are going to be difficult. The likes of Nakamba, Chong, especially with the wages they're on top of that as well. So that is going to be a problem. And yeah, that's something I will look at and will be a bit worried about. But yeah, we will definitely feel that Doughty role for sure. But quick word on the other news signing, Dud, from the other day.
What's his name?
I'm being honest, I can't even remember.
You know what I mean?
With 10 strikers, I think. Yeah, and that's another thing. Why you quickly look on that, bud? That's the thing as well, Jackie. I mean, I said it on the video yesterday. You know, you've even loaned strikers out as well. Yes, Ollie Lynch hasn't actually featured in the first team, but you expect as the seasons go on, you know, he will feature at some point, you know, as he gets older and more experienced and things like that. Obviously, you loaned out Taylor Harris to Tranmere, who's, you know, enjoying his time there, which is good to see. And that is a good move for him, I feel. You know,
Cohen Bramall. That's it, yeah. Cohen
that's
Bramall.
it. Bramall, yeah, Bramall. As soon as I heard Bramall, it reminded me of Sheffield United, Bramall Lane. Don't know why.
I think the more thing is he's 29. He's not old, you know. He's kind of in his prime, but he's probably reached his ceiling. Do you know what I mean? And I think we've just got him in because he's obviously like what we're looking for down the left. Obviously, I believe he's played under Bloomfield before Colchester, and you know, I think he's just neat and tidy there, and that's kind of what we're looking for. You know, about whistles and all that. Do you know what I mean? Someone who's just experienced at that level, a little bit above it. Do you know what I mean? He'll do the job, so we can't really complain. I mean, let's judge him when we see him, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, Tavide as well, obviously, was you know, but obviously Bloomfield knows him well as well. Hence another reason we are looking to get him in. But yeah, even looking at Tavide a little bit, you know, I was watching some highlights the other day. He's quite like big player, like, you know what I mean? But he's actually really fast. Like usually them sort of players, they're like obviously, you know, like Morris, for example, in the sense of holding on to the ball and stuff. But he's got a bit of pace about him as well. A lot of people are saying it's like it reminds them of when we got Elijah, you know, similar sort of player in that sense, you know, quick feet, obviously, you know, scores good goals and stuff as well. So it'd be interesting. But yeah, I really like the fact he can play anywhere across the three. And I feel that could massively benefit us if we do end up, you know, sort of doing a 3 or a 2. Either way, I don't think one's going to really work. I think we need to either have wide players out or two up front. You know, we need to play one of them when it comes to the attacking situation, I believe. But yeah, more on the game itself. Like I say, first half, I don't really think we were great. I don't really think there was much. I think the closest chance was that Saville header, wasn't it, from the corner? It was just one of them where we were struggling to get a hold of the game. You know, especially in this type of game against newly promoted side, you thought we'd get onto the ball a little bit more, dictate and play, but we were, you know, struggling to do that a little bit, and it was just down to our sloppiness, really, wasn't it? Though?
There's a little bit of that. I think the form, you know, putting Ali up front didn't work on this occasion. Obviously, we kept switching formations and that. But yeah, the midfield, I think Saville's better off not in like a you know, straight midfield, if that makes sense. Like he needs to sit back deeper and do that. And you know, we didn't concede any goals. So you know, you could see that we had the better players technically. That was just blatantly obvious for, you know, everyone should be seeing that. We just weren't. We never got out of, you know, like second gear, third gear, really. But you know, they came to defend. You know, they came to put, you know, really good performance in, which you know, they offer nothing. I don't even think they had a shot on target. So yeah, we just need that little bit of extra quality, but it takes a while to get into that flow, you know. But the signs are there. We've already seen it in pre-season. I mean, we're unbeaten if you include that for quite a few, you know, 5-6 games or something like that. So I'm not too worried about it. And then yeah, it's more of the same in the second half. Made some changes. And then obviously that little bit of quality. This is what happens when you've got that little extra bit of quality in your team. You know, Naki Wells, you know, good vision. Fair play for Woodrow for just running in there. And their keeper, you know, should, you know, their defenders like headed it obviously in that, but their keeper was a bit panicky and like coming out. But we'll take that all day. But that's what happens when you got that little, you know, that's what sort of saves you sometimes. And you know, yeah, obviously it was lucky, but you're going to take it, aren't you? You know, I mean, it doesn't happen that often that we win a game with an own goal anyway. We normally score in the fucking things. So uh, you take it, you know, and it's just we got 3 away games in a row, I think. Peterborough, on Coventry,
Coventry and Bradford.
so you know that's the real test. You know, you got to become Coventry. Some people say it's a free hit and that, but we'll probably we'll change players around, obviously, in that. Do you know what I mean? Probably start McGuinness, you know, the West Ham sign in and things like that. And yeah, it'd be interesting, but I'm not too bothered about that because there's so many games, so many games, and you don't want to get lost in that, you know, because we could beat them and get Man City, well, not Man, you know, second round, a Premier League team, and then you know, 3 points, it's not bad, obviously, but so weird, like 12 teams won. You know,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I think that's the first time it's never been a draw in like never not been a draw.
It's absolutely crazy. So like it looks well open already, like in that respect. But obviously it'll change over the next couple of games. I watched like some of the other games as well. You know, Huddersfield won 3-0. I watched that, but at times Leighton Orient were very similar to us. The fact that they dominated a lot of the ball, but they had no end product. But they, you know, Huddersfield didn't run them ragged. So anyone's thinking that is crazy. Do you know what I mean? You know, Alfie made out a penalty. Do you know what I mean? They've got them strikers already in the building. Do you know what I mean? We've just signed Yates as well, who's definitely going to be a starter. And probably for me, I think he could end up being top scorer in that league. Personally, you know, he wanted to stay in the Championship, but you know he likes playing in Orange, mate. So he'll just come back and just be that. And he inside the box, mate. He ain't missing, and he'll be the new penalty taker as well. If he's playing, and he will link up well with like Ali, that Tavide, who I rate as well. I think he's a good young prospect. And I did say to you, I know it's a different thing and that, but on a like manager mode on like FIFA and that, like I signed him for like Tranmere, and he was just fucking excellent, mate. You know what I mean? You just remember these things. Obviously, you can't judge it on that, but even like his actual attributes, you can see like in that game and in real life. You watch videos, he's strong, really strong. Holds up the ball extremely well. He linked up really well with Lyle Taylor at Colchester as well. He got a really bad injury as well, and which is he come back from. So he's looking like a good prospect. And we've been linked with another striker as well from another Scottish team, Ross County or something.
Yeah, Hale, that's who we were linked with. The first striker we were linked with this summer, actually.
Yeah, so that's quite interesting. Sign them two. Still got a sneaky feeling we're going to sign another left back as well.
We got
like go with what you got then till January, and that's the quality we've got in that squad, especially defence wise. And clean sheets. That's the key thing for me over this pre-season and in the first game. Is the amount of clean sheets that we've got, and you can continue. We're playing Southend, playing Junior. We was playing Dundee. We was playing teams I've never even heard of last season, and they're still putting goals past us and things like that. So it's completely different. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the game.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I wouldn't say Wimbledon definitely didn't deserve to win. You could say they deserved to get something out of the game, absolutely, because they did defend pretty well. Other than that, blocking shots and that, but they offered nothing other than that. Their manager was he quite saying we want to shock them. You ain't going to shock us by sitting back and defending, are you? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, and that little extra bit of quality that it counts. So we take it and move on. And just keep getting them games under your belt.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. They deserved a draw at best, but yeah, it's one of them where I look at and I felt the second half performance was better. One thing I will say, which didn't really work in this game, was the midfield. It looked like Saville was higher at times, which I didn't like to see because he is one of them sort of CDMs, isn't he? Well, that's what he is. Do you know what I mean? He likes to be more defensive structured, in front of the defence. And it's at times in the game, Walsh was actually deeper. I didn't really like to see that, to be honest. So, yeah, hopefully that changes as the weeks go on. But a lot of people were saying, including myself, that I'd put Baptiste in ahead of Walsh in this game. And I mean, Baptiste come on, didn't he? And had that shot, could have made it 2-0. Very unlucky for me. I mean, there was a few people saying he should have scored. I think that's a bit harsh because he was proper close. It was very unlucky. It was a good strike, and it's good to see we're doing that. We're taking them shots from distance. We're not always trying to run it into the net and all that frustrating sort of play that is played in football nowadays. But yeah, like I say, obviously it was one end where it's a bit of luck, but you got to take it. You got to take it, and yes, it wasn't a great performance. Me personally, I do not care, and I'm sure a lot of you in the comments, I'm sure you're saying that if we don't play great, we win the game. I'm not bothered. That is the 3 points. And I also look at it, I compare it to last season and all the other seasons where we haven't got the results. We started off slow. And again, we started off slow in this game, but we got the win. Whereas the other games, we'd have got absolutely dismantled or got a draw, which we nearly did, but we didn't. And you have to credit Wells for the cross, for the goal. It's a great, obviously, ball, which he tried to do to Woodrow. Do I think Woodrow would have got it? Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of people being critical of Woodrow, including myself. I said it in the match reaction as well. But at the end of the day, he's a good player to bring on if you've got about 10 minutes left, because he does have them capabilities of scoring goals. Like I said in the match reaction, he's done it loads of times. Everton in the FA Cup. Norwich a couple of years ago in the Championship. There's Palace away. They're 3 games I can think of. There's probably another 1 or 2. But yeah, they're the main ones I can think of. So, I think a player to bring on and the dying stages, it's not bad. I just think from minute 1, he shouldn't be starting in games unless it's like the EFL, the trophies or, them sort of games. I don't mind. But like, starting in the League One game, no. That should not be the case, especially with the options we've got now. You put Ali up front, of course. You've got Yates, you've got Wells. Right now, even though we don't know what's going on with him, you have got Nordas ahead of him as well. So, there's loads of other ones anyway, in my opinion. But dying stages, no problem with bringing him on, is how I see it. Another thing I will say about the game before we do get into the player ratings, Keeley, I did like the way he come out at times, but there was 2 moments which I do worry a little bit. I know he's been getting a lot of praise, rightly so. But one thing I will say, there was one moment where he was sort of running out and he was near the corner flag, and I was sort of thinking, whoa, you don't want to do that against certain teams because we will get punished for that. You've seen the best of the best do that, in not recent years, but, Alisson, Neuer, they were the main 2 at doing it. And he looks up to Alisson as well. Obviously, he said that. So that's obviously where he gets it from. But yes, sometimes I will worry if he does that. I'm not going to lie, especially when we played a team that has a fast striker or attacker. That'll be a bit worried. That's the only one thing I will say about him when it comes to that. But it's good to see that he's a lot more, I loved Kaminsky, but it's good to see that he's a lot more calmer with the ball at his feet. He's good with the ball at his feet, distribution-wise. Good to see that, though. That's what I will say. But we'll go through some comments before we get into the player ratings. Referring to the left wing back, left centre back we have signed. Not excited signing, but free. Can't complain if he does job left back or wing back. Should be okay in League One. Probably got 1 year contract. Yeah, I'll totally agree, mate. That's how I think it is. Big up to Hatters, man. He says the win was the most important thing. I think we're assembling a decent team. Just need time to gel. Yeah, exactly. I'll totally agree with that. We look really solid at the back. Good improvement, not just against Wimbledon all pre-season. We look solid at the back. Yeah, exactly. And that goes to what you said, Dad, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we have seen better games in pre-season. other than probably the 8-1, but I don't really count that because that was, what, 4 30-minute games? The best 90-minute game probably in pre-season, I would say, was probably Colchester because of the type of goals we scored. Gillingham, sorry, not Colchester. I always get them two muddled up. But yeah, no, the type of goals in that game as well. You could argue maybe the Southend one in the second half, but yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, exactly. That's what we've got to look at. That is exactly what we've got to look at. I totally agree. We have one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought that's what you meant. Yeah, exactly that, mate. Exactly, and that refers back to what I was saying. But yeah, going into the player ratings for this game. So obviously in goal, Josh Keeley, like I say, really good, commanding. You know, good to see that there's a good communication with the defence. I just worry sometimes when he comes out the way he does, like I've said. But overall, clean sheet, decent performance. I give him a 7.
We didn't have nothing to do. Um,
Yeah, no shots on target for me.
Completely different from Kaminsky. We're really confident, and he will. I don't think he'll change that in his game. I think he will continue to do that. But obviously, he's certain teams, like I say, got to be careful. But he's going to do that. He didn't have anything to do really for me, so I'm just going to give him my 6.5.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Jackie has gone with a 7. Moving on to Makoso. A lot of people saying he didn't have a great game. You know, pretty poor. I mean, for me, yes, it wasn't a great game compared to what we have seen of him, but I don't think it was terrible. I still think he was all right in the game. So I'll give him a 7.
Well, I thought the back three were pretty excellent. Really,
clean sheet as well.
Exactly. I think it's compared to what we've been seeing with him recently in the back end of last season. But at the end of the day, he's a defender. He's not going to be like magic. As long as he does his job, then that's fine for me. I'll give him 7.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. Big up to Terry in the chat. He says 7. Good distribution. Reads the game, not like Kaminsky. Yeah, some people had that about Kaminsky, didn't they? Where they felt, he was a bit, not great at, sometimes with the communication. But yeah, no, Keeley is much more on it in that sense. I will be honest with that. Christ, 6.5 says Jackie. Moving on to Anderson. Now, I want to talk about Anderson. He has got a lot of criticism. As much as he got man of the match, people going, oh, yeah, but he's slow. He can't do this. He can't do that. I mean, when we was in League One last time, yeah, the two centre-backs, we had Sonny Bradley and Matty Pearson. Yeah, they're not fast, but we won the league. Now, I'm not saying we're going to win the league again. We might not. However, I think as an option, I think as the season goes on, McGuinness will definitely start over him. However, as an option, he's really good. You saw what he done at Barnsley. And he deserves, a lot of credit for me. I do think it's harsh, and that's the thing. Look at McGuinness. He's not fast, but he's good at reading the game. I think this narrative, or they have to be fast. It's a load of BS, mate. A lot of people are fast, and it saves them. It saves them from their overall, looked at as a footballer. So, yeah, for me, it's a little bit harsh, the criticism I have seen on Anderson. But yeah, when it comes to the game, like I said in my match reaction, instant match reaction, man of the match, and I'm going to stick with it. Thought he was good in the game, and he is showing why he can be a good option in this team at least for me. So I'm going to give him an 8.
7.5 is also my man of the match. Winning all the headers. Coming forward with the ball. Accurate passes, just look really solid and like he's enjoying his football. And he doesn't need pace for in League One anyway. Great understudy for McGuinness, and in fact he could end up keeping McGuinness out of the team if he carries on playing like that. But obviously, like I said, we've got to switch players around for these cup games and the Virtue Trophy and all that. Again, Naismith's slow.
Exactly.
So no, he's a good footballer, especially at this level. He's found his level. Well, we've all found our fucking level because that's where we are. But yeah, he's doing absolutely fine. For me, and he hadn't really got a chance before. Injuries. He scored on it in first goal in the Premier League. Offers that threat as well as McGuinness does with the heading and stuff. But nah, for me, he's decent. And I'm quite glad we've kept him because I thought we might, someone might come in or we might not be, but Bloomfield likes him, rates him, we've seen what he's done in that league before. And he's just got to prove it. And that's what he did do in the first game of the season. He definitely stood out, without a doubt. So 7.5 man a match.
Yeah, I agree. Because there was them rumours right at the start of the window. I remember doing a T-Boy discusses on it that he was maybe going to go to Sweden, Malmo, who have played in Europe a few times, were looking at him. So I'm glad that we are keeping him because I think as an option, like I say, in League One, he can definitely do a job for us. Whether he's a rotational player or maybe he keeps McGuinness out of the team until McGuinness is back. I think he's a good option to have. So that's how I see it. With him, do let me know your thoughts on that as well. We'll go through, obviously, the other ratings. Terry says Christ 7, kept a clean sheet. Exactly. Christ, obviously, a 7. Anderson 7 for Jackie. Terry says Anderson 7.5, good League One player. Yeah, exactly. Paul 8.5. Thank you, Ben, for the super chat, mate. Really do appreciate that. Ben is in the Discord, by the way, people. Do get in the Discord. And we will be, doing the school updates on there as well. And if you can't attend the Hat Show, then obviously we'll get them on there and we'll be doing general updates on the channel, talk Luton and things like that. So, yeah, do join it. It is pinned, like I say. But he does say, hi, T and Baz. What's happening with Nordas? I only just put it on, I think you meant to say. Common New Hatters, I don't know. Like I said, I did sort of touch on it yesterday on the video I did. I think there is a striker going because, like I say, we got so many, even with ones that we have loaned out, on top of the ones that obviously are injured. I just think someone is going to go. And maybe it might be him because, nothing's been said on injuries or anything like that. Maybe they don't want to do a similar situation with Doughty where they say, oh, he's injured and then he's not. Next minute he's going somewhere. I don't know. I mean, if he does go, like I said yesterday, I will feel a bit sorry for him because he hasn't really got a proper chance. But I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting one with him. And, I don't mind if he stays or goes. And I think I said that early on when he was rumoured to go to the team that he nearly went to in January, but went to us instead. So, I don't know. I mean, he seems to be adapting more, liking his time in England as a whole as well. So, I don't know with this one. It's a weird one, really. But yeah, I don't know, who knows? We shall see in the next coming weeks or days with that one. But yeah, moving on to the next player, which is Naismith, obviously captain now. The question I will have, Dad, before we get into his rating. Now, obviously, he is the captain, as we know. Do you think now you'll probably see him start a lot more then due to that, and we will play a back three throughout the season?
Yeah, I would have thought so. Because you're not going to have your captain on the bench for most of the time. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, he'll play in the defence, either on the left, in the centre. He'll just adapt, and if Saville gets injured, I don't know, maybe he'll go into that role. But yeah, I'd say that he'll be starting most games.
Yeah.
And just managing from the back as well, So yeah, but my rating for him 7 anyway.
Yeah, 7. Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, similar to, I guess, Makoso in that sense, wasn't his best against, but he weren't bad. He was still very commanding and leading from the back and showing what he's can do with that. But yeah, a bit breaking news if anyone's interested. The only reason I'm mentioning it is because it is a former Hatter. But Drewsbury Hall is actually close to Everton move. Which is quite interesting. It should do pretty well for them, I reckon.
Yeah.
Chelsea, you know what they're like. They've got about 100 players, so they have to offload some. So, yeah, that's a bit breaking news there. But yeah, moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Walters. Like I say, first half, I thought he was poor. Like, in my opinion, he's probably like one of the worst players, especially in them opening 15 minutes. But as the game grew on, especially in the second half, he was, you could argue one of the better players. And a lot of people, based on his second half performance, actually did give him man of the match. He was close for me on it. But yeah, I mean, I still think we need cover, just to help him, a bit of experience alongside him. But I feel he can definitely be a good option to have, and he'll probably play a lot, maybe in the St Johnson's trophy and that as well. We shall see. But yeah, as for his rating in this game, like I say, massively improved in that second half. So I'll give him a 7.
I'll give him 6.5. We were quite sloppy. Other players were sloppy as well, but it was more noticeable with him. But like you say, in the second half, he definitely improved, and he's still young, so he's got to play these games to get that experience, and it didn't cost us, etc. You know what I mean? So, and he had that shot as well. That would have been a banging
Yeah,
goal.
good shot. I forgot to mention that.
It was close, pretty close. Well, the keeper saved it actually. So you know what I mean? It was a decent shot.
That was the best shot of the game, like from that moment.
For a
There
defender
wasn't anything else.
as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'll give him a 6.5.
Yeah, Jackie's gone with the same. Terry says Naismith good on the ball, 7. Yeah, he's very good on the ball, very, very composed, and we saw that when he come back. Obviously when he come back on loan last year, was so calm on the ball. The way he was bringing the ball down in certain games last year as well. Like, yeah, it's brilliant. Walters 6.5, good second half, good shot. Yeah, exactly. Moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Longwick. Yeah, I do think that experiment of putting him as a left wing back didn't quite work in this game. I feel left centre back would be a great option. But then again, you've got Naismith who's there, unless you move Naismith to the middle. But I don't know with that one. But he's definitely going to be a big player for us at times this year. I thought in the first half against Gillingham in that friendly, he was really good, in the opening 5-10 minutes. So he's definitely going to be a player. He is on loan, so you've got to utilise him as much as possible. But yeah, this game, it didn't really work out there. So I'm not going to be too harsh on him, when it comes to his performance. It's just it didn't really work. So 6.5.
Yeah, I agree. But like say, if we play 3 at the back, is he going to really get in? I mean, I like him. I think he's good. I think he's got good pedigree, and it is a loan to buy. Probably based on if we go up or not, I would have thought. But yeah, I think he's decent. I'm not sure as well. But it depends if he's played in that position before in his career, etc. I'm not quite sure that he has. But I do think he will be utilised there this season. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But yeah, 6.5.
Yeah. 6.5 says Jackie as well. Walters 7 says Paul. Did his job better second half in centre half. Yeah, that's true. Obviously, Ali come on, didn't he? Ali moved to left wing back, didn't he? As the game went on in the second half. So yeah, I do agree. With that. Moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Walsh. Now again, I just feel whatever was said, I'll be honest, I don't really think it worked in this game with him. He was a lot further back than Saville, which I just didn't understand. So again, similar to Longwick, I'm not really going to be too harsh on the player himself. And things like that with Walsh. So again, I'm just going to go over 6.5.
Yeah, same night. Done some. No, you can see the lad's got ability. There was a couple of sloppy passes as well from him, but it's better. I mean, I didn't start him.
Neither.
But he's quality. But I don't know. For me, yeah, the midfield was didn't quite work, did it? So yeah, 6.5.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul says 7 for Longwick. Jackie's gone 6.5 for Walsh. Moving on to we'll go over to Saville. Again, it sort of seemed like he was told to, be quite attacking in this game, which again it could work in certain games, but I feel, especially if him being the CDM, at the club, I'm not looking at Nakamba. He's long gone in this team. Let's just be real with it. So, when I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, well, you've got to play him right. Lamine is a CDM as well, but we play him sort of higher up. So he is technically the only one we've really got. Obviously, we've got players that can play there, but it's not their main position. So for me, the next game, I'd like to see him, if he does play, obviously do that sort of sweeper role, I guess you could say, cover up for the defense, be in front of that defense, things like that. So yeah, again, similar to the other ratings, the last two that I've mentioned, 6.5 for me.
Yeah, I mean, he did get busy, but not as busy as been. But sometimes he didn't need to be that busy because they weren't really playing through the thirds and that much. Do you know what I mean? They were just hitting long balls and that. But yeah, we've already seen the quality that he's bringing in pre-season, etc. We know that he's a very good player, especially at this level. Jeez. But yeah, 6.5.
Yeah. Yeah. Jackie says 6.5 wasn't his best game. 6 says Terry for Walsh. Paul's gone with 6 as well for Walsh. Moving on to next player, we'll go over to Clark. Not the best of games from Clark either, if I'm going to be honest. I've seen better, but again, like I say, the midfield, it didn't really work, and it did say he was sort of as a right winger, but it didn't really look like it as the game went on. Obviously, we know originally that is his position. But yeah, again, I'm going to have to go similar to the others, I think, 6.5.
Yeah, 6.5. Just, yeah, didn't click. Click or didn't click.
Yeah, literally. Will be important in the away games. Yeah, exactly. Especially against the teams you would say will be higher up there. Likes of Huddersfield and things like that. He could be massive in them type of games. I do believe that. If he's played correctly, which he should be in them games, 6.5. Clark 6.5. But yeah, moving on to the two strikers. We'll start off with Ali. Obviously, he was up front to start off with. Not his best of games. I mean, there was a few runs. One hit the side netting in the second half. It was. But yeah, compared to what we have seen, not quite, what we would have expected going into it. So, yeah, I've seen better from Ali. So, again, I'm going to have to go with 6.5.
I'm just going to give him the same, yeah. He got a yellow card as well, let's say. But yeah, he's better. I think maybe if he'd have had better service from the midfield, it would have worked more. But clearly, he's much, for us anyway, he's been much better coming in from that left-hand side. And so, yeah, 6.5.
Yeah, Jackie's gone with the same. Terry says Clark 7 did some nice touches in the first half. Yeah, there was one he did actually. That was really good. I mean, he's done that back-to-back games, nice touches. That one he did against Tottenham as well with his back. That was good as well. But yeah, it's just, the midfield overall just didn't really work. Final ball let him down. Yeah, exactly. 6.5 for Clark says Paul. And he's also got 6.5 for Ali. Moving on to Wells. When it comes to actual striker performance in terms of chances and things like that, I would say I'd expected maybe a bit better from Wells, but across, obviously for the goal, you have to give him massive credit. That was a great ball to obviously force their defender to make a mistake. But yeah, like I said, I think it would have went to Woodrow anyway. So yeah, for me, because of that, I'll give Wells a 7.
6.5.
Fair enough. Jackie's gone with a 7. Terry says Ali 6 didn't get into the game. Good chance in first half. Moving on to the bench, we will start off with Lamine. Good to see him back. Did have a shot, obviously was blocked. Was unlucky. Was a good block, to be fair, from the Wimbledon player. But yeah, he had that chance. Maybe if that goes in, he's a hero in that game. But yeah, he did try and make things happen when he come on. So I'll give him a 7.
I'll just give him a 6.5.
Yeah, fair enough. Wells 7, Paul and Jackie say. Wells 8, great ball for the goal. Very intelligent player. Yeah, exactly. And that is what he's going to bring. He's going to bring that experience and the know-how, which will be massive for us in particular games. And you could argue that one, for example. Nelson come on as well. I'm just going to give Nelson a 6.5.
They're all getting 6.5s, really.
Okay. Woodrow, I'll go with 7 for Woodrow for the movement. Baptiste, I mean, he was unlucky. I'll give him the 7 as well. That shot was very unlucky. And then McGuinness, I'll just go over 6 because he come on with 2 minutes to go. So it's a bit hard to really judge him in that sense. But yeah, 6.5 going in for Lamine. But yeah, they are the player ratings. So obviously, we both give it to Anderson as our man of the match, first of the season. But yeah, as for the points, no one got it spot on. There was a stage where all of us could have got nothing because we all said a Luton win, but we all ended up on 1 point. Like I say, do join the Discord, guys. It is in the pinned and it is in the description, and we will put them on there as well. And if you can't obviously attend shows going forward, if you put them in there, that'd be great, and then I can add that to the thing. But yeah, overall, I guess you could say a bit of a lucky win, but we'll take it. We'll take it. That time, bit of luck come our way, especially after the last 2 years. But yeah, we look ahead now, obviously, to the Peterborough game. I mean, they obviously did play the mid day kickoff against Cardiff on Saturday away. I did watch it. I'm sure a lot of you did as well, just to see how they are, see how Cardiff are. And to be fair, as much as they haven't, they haven't been moving in this transfer window, Cardiff still got some very good players. And you saw them good players. Obviously, Colwell, what a player he is. I mean, he tried to keep him up last year. Great free kick. Callum Robinson, they're bringing on. I mean, I think for that level, League One, he's a good player. So they got them players that did come back. I mean, there was stages where I felt Peterborough did defend well, especially in the first half, but Cardiff just couldn't take their chances. But second half, they did, and then won the game. But yeah, we look ahead to that game. I think it is a winnable game. I think it will be a tight game, but obviously we'll get into it, later on in the week. But yeah, any final things that you'd like to say about anything?
No, it's like first game of the season. Just you got to win, and just need the games to start rolling in basically, so we get used to playing together and just building up that team spirit and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because they've got the skills, they've got the talent. They just need to build that up more, and they'll be fine. But yeah, testing times with the away games, 3 tricky trips there. So that all should, if you come out of them sort of relatively unscathed, as they say, then I'll be pleased. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. There is, I think Bradford in particular is going to be quite hard. They did beat Wickham, obviously, didn't they? In the game, obviously Kono wasn't there, so he is going to be going. Looks like he's going to be going probably to the Championship. But yeah, no, that will be a tough game. Obviously, going to the Coventry game, I do think it will be a what's it called? A free hit, in my opinion, as well. And then obviously, we got the Peterborough game, which, to be fair, I remember last time I went to Peterborough, it was the game I vlogged actually. I think we brought about 4,000. I think we're doing that on the weekend as well, and we drew 1-1. And we could have lost that game, if I'm going to be honest. They were right down there in the Championship, and we were, obviously, that was the year we were fighting playoffs, but didn't quite, win the playoffs. So, yeah, I'm expecting another, fairly tough game, but we'll see how it goes on the weekend. But yeah, that is that when it comes to that. But yeah, again, guys, like I say, do join the Discord if you haven't already. And do get onto that. It'd be good to have everyone in that communicating on that as well. But yeah, content. If any breaking news or signings or anything come out, then obviously there'll be videos throughout the days. But obviously the next Hut show will be on Friday, and yeah, we'll obviously get into that game, the Peterborough game, and then obviously on Saturday there will be a match reaction and things like that. So yeah, do check all of that out. Yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in. And yeah, we'll end it on this comment from Hattersman. He says, really looking forward to Saturday. Mates a posh man and some meeting for a drink before and a curry afterwards. Yeah, by the way, if any of you are going to it, I'm not going to it myself, but if any of you are going to it, a lot of you have probably done it more times than me. I've obviously only done it once, but there is a like a boat and you can go underneath it. I think it's strictly just for the away fans. And you can obviously have drinks there and that. I done it last time and it was pretty cool actually. Pretty cool how they do it. It's probably one of the best ones I've been in when it comes to away games, away section for the fans before the game starts. And it's not too far from the ground either. It's about 5 minute walk, if that. So, yeah, do enjoy it if you are going. But like I say, we'll preview it on Friday and go more into detail with that. But yeah, again, like I say, pin, do join the Discord. And yeah, don't forget, smash a like, subscribe, follow me across all my socials, subscribe to the extra channel, check out the other content over the last couple of days. And yeah, until Friday, we'll see you lot in a bit. So yeah, till then, take care. Peace.